that lady, that new press secretary, she's a
that video, dude.
She's a gangster. They're prepared. And you know why they're prepared? Because they're trying to play gotcha.
Yep.
So she played gotcha with them. She checkmated them.
She came in there with that Elon Musk flamethrower.
Play that video.
Watching this clip, I couldn't help but think how ironic that Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and the rest of the ladies on The View spend their time calling Republicans the conspiracy theorists. But they have been wrong about everything they have said over the last couple of years.
This young lady this is her first job, I would like her to do a little homework because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain something to you, because without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
Yeah. I think she's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
But that lady, that new press secretary, she's that video, dude. She's a gangster. They're prepared. And you know why they're prepared? 'Cause they're trying to play gotcha. So she played gotcha with them. She checkmated them. She came in there with that Elon Musk flamethrower. Play that video. Watching this clip, I couldn't help but think how ironic that Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and the rest of the ladies on The View spend their time calling Republicans the conspiracy theorists. But they have been wrong about everything they have said over the last couple of years. Boom. It finally went down. Karoline Leavitt, the sharp-tongued political powerhouse and loudest voice for free speech on the rise, just slapped The View with a jaw-dropping $500 million defamation lawsuit. And guess what? The media darlings are losing it like someone spilled red wine on their designer rugs at a Hamptons brunch. $500 million, baby. When you drag someone's name through the mud using national TV as your playground, don't cry foul when they clap back with a lawsuit big enough to bankrupt your PR team. I would like this young lady this is her first job. I would like her to do a little homework. MHM. Because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off, and that was she said there will be no wokeness here. Oh yeah. Let me explain something to you, because without that wokeness you might not have that job. Think, clarify. She's probably been put in there because according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know, that's what it is. Love her or hate her, Karoline ain't here to play softball. She's torching the tired media circus and putting the spotlight on what The View has turned into. A round table of rehearsed rage and designer brand drama. She's not just challenging the hosts. She's straight up checking the whole show like it's overdue at the library. Absolutely not. Let me be unequivocally clear about that. And watching this clip, I couldn't help but think how ironic that Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and the rest of the ladies on The View spend their time calling Republicans the conspiracy theorists. But they have been wrong about everything they have said over the last couple of years. They liken President Trump to Hitler. They have mocked him. They have shamed him. They have lied about him consistently on their show. And it was a joy to watch them on November the 6th when they realized that tens of millions of Americans do not listen to the lies that they have spewed. These women are completely out of touch with reality. And you're right, ABC should wait. She's had enough of the phony moral outrage, the smug jabs, and the double standards. Just because she's got ties to Trump or stands her ground doesn't mean she deserves to be dragged on air like it's open mic night at a smear campaign. Karoline's pulling receipts, naming names, and firing back hard. She's not just defending herself, she's making a statement. Then boom, in walks Joe Rogan, the internet's bald truth teller with a black belt in both jiu-jitsu and common sense. From his podcast Throne, where actual nuance still breathes, Joe saw the media storm brewing and didn't even flinch. He sniffed out the game instantly. Another tired move by legacy media, trying to shut down anyone who dares to think different. Meanwhile, over at The View, the hosts were clutching their coffee mugs like stress balls, tossing around labels like dangerous with the same depth as a teenage horoscope. It was all vibes, zero substance, like a bad BuzzFeed quiz, but with more makeup and fewer facts. But that lady, that new press secretary, she's that video, dude. She's a gangster. Have you seen that video? You've never seen someone more prepared for a question in your life, Jamie. Have you seen that? You know what I'm talking about. I small point on that. Not the big point, but small point. She was so prepared for this. That's what I'm saying. Well, she's supposed to be prepared. That's why I said you've never seen someone more prepared for that. There Joe. He didn't need a panel, a stylus, or scripted sass. Just a mic, a little sanity, and maybe some elk jerky on the side. His verdict? Straight fire. This lawsuit wasn't weakness. It was war. A necessary clapback. A line drawn deep in the sand that screamed, you don't get to wreck someone's name on live TV just because your ratings are slipping. So, what set this whole thing off? A segment where Joy Behar, Whoopi Goldberg, Sunny Host, and whichever in turn got tossed into the guest seat decided to casually drag Karoline Leavitt's political background like it was a comedy sketch. No debate, no real questions, just a public roast masked as harmless commentary. But let's call it what it was. Casual defamation dressed up in designer talk show clothes. And what's wild, this kind of mess gets a total free pass just because it's delivered with a side of cackling and applause from a live studio crowd. Joy Behar, always quick to confuse volume for truth, slammed Karoline as dangerous. Dangerous for what exactly? For having a clear point of view and the guts to say it out loud. If that's the new standard, then apparently anyone who's read the Constitution is now a national threat. Then came Whoopi with that classic combo of smug side eyes and off-brand enlightenment that sounds like it was ripped from a Whole Foods vision board. She's got this way of saying everything and nothing at once floating above the convo like she's too wise for facts, but not too wise for gossip. If you heard that type of violent, enticing rhetoric from our side of the aisle, from Republican leaders on Capitol Hill, I think there would be a lot more outrage in this room today. It's unacceptable the comments that have been made by these Democrat leaders. And frankly, they don't even know what they're talking about. And let's not forget Sunny Hen, who dusted off her law degree just long enough to throw around legal terms like she skimmed a Leal for Dummies thread 5 minutes before airtime. Her take, legal vibes only, minus the accuracy. That was Karoline's breaking point. She didn't throw a tantrum. She didn't run to a PR team. She lawyered up, stood tall, and hit back with the kind of move that makes headlines in history. Joe Rogan, he clocked it immediately. This wasn't drama. It was a shift. A moment where someone finally stood up to media elites who confuse airtime with authority. Joe didn't mince words. The View isn't a talk show anymore. It's a bachelorette party for bad takes, cheap shots, and facts that never RSVP'd. So Joy Behar went after Joe Rogan on The View, and he fired back spectacularly. You're worried about losing your job, and you're worried about podcasts taking over, and who's the source of news, and we said Donald Trump was Hitler, but half the country disagreed with us, and he won, and this is and Joe Rocket believes in dragons. Welcome to The View, where logic goes to get waterboarded by half-baked Twitter threads and recycled TikTok takes. Watching them try to tackle real politics is like watching toddlers try to negotiate peace in the Middle East using crayons, juice boxes, and zero grown-ups in the room. While Karoline's legal team was probably typing up lawsuits and Comic Sans just for the irony, Joe Rogan was somewhere in his podcast lair howling with laughter, probably knocked over a kettlebell mid-call. To him, the whole thing wasn't just petty drama. It was performance art, Shakespeare in court, but make it influencer style with less talent and way more hashtags. Rogan didn't just nod in agreement. He saluted Karoline. This wasn't a meltdown. It was a power move. Yeah, Karoline's made her name clapping back at the woke mob. But this time, it wasn't just about proving a point. It was about flipping the script. If The View can dish out heat like it's happy hour, then it's about time they learn how to handle the burn. They're prepared. And you know why they're prepared? 'Cause they're trying to play gotcha. So she played gotcha with them. She checkmated them. She came in there with that, __ Elon Musk flamethrower. Play that video. Play that video. And Joe, oh, he went full scorched earth. He called the show what it really is. Daytime TV crashing into a menopause convention with no facts, no filter, and way too much fake crying. He dragged their whole act. Yell loud, play the victim, and then act like surviving their own echo chamber makes them heroes. Nah, Joe wasn't buying it. And honestly, neither is half the internet. If you ask people, even in the legacy media, even the Trump haters, they will tell you the approach has been much different. Not just for me, but the entire White House. Oh, absolutely. They come in my office every day and they'll admit that off the record. Maybe not on the record, but they will say they appreciate the access and the transparency and the preparation that goes into my briefings and everybody on our team, by the way, who goes out to the camera. The View is what you'd get if the Mean Girls crew aged up, got talk shows, and just never evolved. It's like high school drama in designer blazers. Petty, loud, and stuck in a loop of outrage and eye rolls. From Ron Dantis to any random person rocking a red cap, they've basically declared open war on anyone not sipping from their bottomless progressive mimosa. If Joy Behar doesn't vibe with your opinion, suddenly you're either brainwashed, heartless, or getting cancelled before the next commercial break. Their version of a political conversation crying into an overpriced candle and screaming for federal charges like it's a group therapy session gone rogue. But then you've got Joe Rogan, the anti-View. The dude who will invite Bernie Sanders and Alex Jones to the same cookout and let the fireworks fly while he munches elk jerky like it's movie night. He's out here wearing camo talking space apes and still managing to be the most grown-up voice in the room.